What's up? Sean Cannell here, author of YouTube Secrets. Question for you. Have you started live streaming yet? Here on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook Live, are you using live streaming to grow your brand and your business? If so, then let me know in the comments. If not, in this video, I am bringing on my friend Pat Flynn to talk about the power of starting a live show. He recently launched the Income 130 days straight now, and we're going to be learning his lessons in this video. And so hit the like button. Pat Flynn, my man, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. Super excited to learn about what you've been learning live streaming. For how many days now have you been doing this income stream show?
So I've been streaming for 170 days straight, 1 hour each day in the morning, and I've learned a lot, for sure. I've absolutely learned a ton, and I can't wait to share with all of you who are interested in why go live, just like we're live right now, and also what can come out of that. I'm just super stoked to tell you.
Have you been growing the beard? Is that part, like the beard is part of growing into the income stream, kind of
The beard is more. In fact, the funny story about the beard was in February, I had a massive launch for a new product, and it was the first time I had a beard because I just didn't have time to shave it off. But we did so well with it that I was just like, I'm going to call this my lucky launch beard, and I'm going to keep it. And then it grew in. I got rid of the itchiness, and then I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And a lot of people were like, wow, you look different, but I don't know, I kind of like it. And I'm like, I think I like it too. So it's here to stay for a while at least.
You look wise. So here's the thing.
Well, then I'm going to keep it.
I want people, if they're just meeting you, to hear a little bit about what you're doing. This video is about lessons in live streaming. Pat Flynn has been crushing live streaming, and he's been going live daily on YouTube on a show called The Income Stream. He's also one of our speakers next week at Grow With Video Live. And he's actually going to be talking about the power of building powerful communities, how live streaming can help do that, and really going deeper in that. But I'm so excited to learn his lessons about why we should be live streaming to build community, grow our influence, reach new people, create customers, build our businesses faster, and especially at this time in the world. So Pat, as we dive into it, for those that are just meeting you, how do you kind of introduce yourself in a nutshell?
Yeah, I mean, typically I say, I was somebody who had a 9-to-5 job that I loved, and then I got laid off, didn't know what to do, and thankfully I found the internet where I could build a business, and I started teaching people how to pass an architectural exam, which is the industry I came from. And since then, everybody's been asking me how I was able to make that business work, and that's where people know me from. SmartPassiveIncome.com is the brand, and I share everything and anything that I learn, all the wins, all the failures. People just come along for the ride as I build new businesses, from physical products like the Switch Pod recently, to this experiment with live streaming, to a membership community I just launched. Everybody knows everything about how my business is run, and including my income, because I share that as well. And that way I can help inspire people, but also help people fast forward through the mistakes that I've already made for them. I sort of consider myself the entrepreneur with the machete going through the forest, like trying new things. Hey, let me blaze a trail for you. Hey, don't go there. There's a lion over there. Let's go this way instead, kind of thing. So that's kind of how I see myself.
That's brilliant. And you're a massive podcaster. You've podcasted and you talked about, we recently launched a podcast from your mentorship, as podcasting is one of the best ways to scale intimacy. You taught us, it's a place where you can go deeper. You're a absolutely commendable YouTube creator, over 100,000 subscribers. And now on YouTube, you have a daily live show. Why live streaming, and before we even get into like tips, what has this done for your business and your brand to commit to going live?
It has done so much as far as creating this incredible connection that I never thought was possible. Even though, like I said, the podcast is a great way to build those relationships, there's nothing like being there live with people. Much like how when you go to a live event, you see and you meet people, you get to know them. And what's really cool is not only has this helped me build a stronger connection with my audience, but it's allowed my audience to have a stronger connection legit with each other. And this is how you build a community. This is where now fans can see themselves together, and almost like how if you're at a baseball game, right, and your favorite team scores the winning home run, you're high-fiving people that you don't know around you. Why? Because you're all there together for the same reason, and somebody, just because they're wearing the same ball cap, is immediately a friend. So people within the chat, in fact, have gone so far as to, even without me even knowing it for a while, they created their own Slack channel to communicate with each other after the live stream happens. And there's hundreds of people in there now who, after the live stream, they go in there, they've gotten to know each other. Business partnerships have been formed in there, friendships. In fact, people supporting each other's families have happened in there, and so many other opportunities that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't able to come up and create this thing. And we as creators, we have the opportunity with the audiences that we built to facilitate and create containers or spaces where these things can happen, whether that's in person, like what you do with your event, and this time it's going to be virtual, obviously, but it's going to be just as great, if not even more epic, and even online and little live streams that you can pop in here and there. But that can only happen if you start to remain a little bit consistent with it. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to go live daily. In fact, many people are calling me crazy, but it's actually doing a lot for me because I start the day with a daily live stream. It gets me up in the morning, and I have this incredible energy after the live streams are over to go back and put into my podcast, my pre-recorded YouTube videos, or other parts of my business too. And it, again, is another reminder of who it is that I'm serving, why I'm here, and also it allows me to collect direct feedback from people in real time. Hey guys, I'm thinking about writing a blog post about this. What do you think about that? And legit, I can get in real time, number one, some feedback. Number two, good suggestions. And number three, it also makes them feel like they're on the inside. The fact that they're the first to know that something might be coming up is very, very, it's mostly like kind of like an Easter egg, right? You feel involved. And I talk about in my book, Super Fans, quite often, as you know, how making people feel like they belong to something is the key to continued growth, to continued support, and to building what I like to call business insurance, because people who become fans of you, even if tech goes down, even if you lose your email list, like they're going to follow you and find you and support you. So it's done so much for community more than anything.
Man, that's so powerful. If you were to tell those watching that are committed, okay, I'm uploading a video a week on YouTube, a couple of videos a week on YouTube, I'm making pre-recorded, pre-edited videos. I'm nervous though, because number one, I'm not sure why I should even start live streaming. And I also am not sure if I'll be able to live stream. Right now, I edit my videos. And so that sounds kind of intimidating. Why would you suggest a content creator start live streaming and maybe encourage them to press that big, scary go live button and then just be out there, just like this,
Yeah.
like for better or worse?
You can't edit this as you go. So there's a little bit of prep involved with my daily live streams in terms of the topic that I want to talk about. You could just go live to answer questions too, whatever the case may be. It's communication and connection with your audience. And that's why we press broadcast, to have that connection and to be there live, and also to teach real time. It is a little bit scary when you think about it, but also because it's not pre-recorded, because you can't edit on the go, you actually have a lot more room and flexibility to mess up and to not have it be perfect. In fact, this is what's creating even more of a connection. The fact that it's raw and that it's real. If you at all want to be an expert at what you're doing, what better way to demonstrate your expertise than to answer people's questions or in real time talk about a topic? I wouldn't go live with something that I have no idea about, because then I would be fumbling the whole time or making stuff up. Go live with stuff that you are excited about talking about and letting people know about. And in fact, on YouTube, I think 80% of my views on my videos actually come after the fact. So you can choose to have your videos actually show up as a replay, essentially, or actually be included in your playlists or within your video areas after you go live. And that's pretty cool too. So I actually use my live streams to be not just ways for me to connect with people live, but to also continually add to my list of videos. And sometimes those videos, like our regular YouTube videos, pop as well. But it's not as scary as you might think, because all that fear that you're telling yourself is happening. But when you hit record, you're just there and you're going, right? It's like skydiving. The part where you have the most fear is the part when you're in the plane and you're safe. And then when you're out there and you're skydiving, it's like the most blissful, most exciting thing in the world. It is exhilarating. You're going to make mistakes, but you have to be a disaster before you become the master. And what better way to learn how to communicate real time and have these amazing connections with people, to learn how to improve your storytelling, which is something that I do purposefully in all of my live streams. I try to go, okay, what's one or two stories I can tell? Stories are everything. And doing this in real time makes people go, oh my gosh, this is great. I'm connecting, and this person is the person I want to continue to follow. And the other thing about this is all the other competitors that you might have on YouTube, guess what? They're not doing this. So if you want an easy way to stand out, take the plunge and do something a little bit risky. And it's safe because you can actually make mistakes and it's okay. It's more real that way.
Bruh, if you gotta before you're a master, you're a disaster. I'm trying to like say, powerful, man. No, that's so encouraging. And you said it right there at the end. All your competitors are not doing this. One of the things that's so inspiring about what you're doing too is the power of momentum, the power of focused intensity, the power of day after day, episode after episode. Not that everybody could go daily, but even committing. A couple things that we were inspired by, Pat, that similarly, because of the lockdown, we started live shows. We started the Think Marketing Q&A, which Heather and Melissa Caputo do. And sometimes I jump on there. We started Coffee with Cannell. And we started an internal VRA show, and we started live shows, and it changed everything. Intimacy, it made us show up consistently. We were there more. And again, once you just kind of do it, you schedule it. Richard Branson, screw it, let's do it. And you just kind of, that's sort of what you've done. You just were like, I'm going live, man. And you just haven't stopped. And so I'm excited. In just a second, I want to hear maybe just a couple tips for those that are like, okay, I'm in. What are the first few tips for getting started? But my friends, Pat Flynn is one of our speakers next week at growthvideolive.com. If you have not got your tickets yet, I encourage you. You can jump in for as cheap as $97 to get access to the entire conference live. And then a couple other levels just have to do with how long you get the replays. And one level you can actually have the replays for life. And so we've made the conference super affordable. 3 full days, power pack content. We have a conference app for all the networking. And we're really putting our energy into, I know it's been crazy with the lockdown. It's been crazy with, wanting to get together in person. And we're excited to be able to do that again in the future. But in the meantime, I really believe there are ways we can connect in community. There's going to be some breakouts and some networking parties where we're going to be in Zoom and break into rooms of, 6 to 8 people and really be able to meet people. I believe that friendships will happen at this conference. Business partnerships, collaborations, inspiration from the other people attending, let alone the speakers like Chris Ducker, Shalene Johnson, Pat Flynn, Vanessa Lau, Content Bug, Catherine Manning, Pete Vargas, so many different, Heather Torres, Omar El Takori, Jade Dharma Wangsa, Benji Travis, man, it's really packed. So if you could do me a favor, can somebody type growwithvideolive.com just so I can pin the URL in case people want to grab tickets? In just a second, Pat's going to give us some tips that he's learned in terms of live streaming. But Pat, next week at the conference, you're going to be going deep into the aspect of community building and the power of building a tribe of super fans, of really going deep in community. Give us a little preview of your session.
Yeah, so super fans is the ultimate form of followers, right? Because these are the people who are going to show up for us no matter what. They're going to buy our products without even reading the sales page. If there's a troll that enters the picture, they're going to defend you from it without you even knowing this person exists, right? They're the front lines. They're going to wave your flag really high. We want super fans because they will follow us no matter what happens in technology, because technology is changing all the time. Algorithms are going to get in the way. Super fans are the lifeblood of our business. So instead of focusing so much on let's get new traffic and SEO and all that stuff is important, obviously, but what happens when people get there? Let's elevate them from people who just found you to become super fans. And unfortunately, people don't become super fans the moment they find you, right? It's like a good song that you hear. You hear the good song, you're interested, but you're not a fan of the band yet. But then you listen to their album, and then you see them on YouTube, and then you go to their concert, and then all of a sudden you have bobbleheads and action figures and all this kind of stuff related to the band because you just love them so much, right? But it takes time. So this presentation is going to tell you all the different kinds of moments you can create for your audience from the moment they find you to trigger them into somebody who will then become a subscriber and an active follower, to then have them feel like they're now a part of the community, to then ultimately have them feel like they are a part of your brand and are going to become a super fan. So I'm going to tell you very specific strategies that you can do that you can in fact implement right away to get people to go, oh my gosh, I love this person. They're going to be my favorite. I want to share them with everybody I know. That's what I'm going to teach you how to do.
Man, so excited. So growwithvideolive.com is where you can get tickets to hear Pat Flynn do a deep training next week, as well as our other speakers, and you can see them all there. Hit like if you've been getting value, or the heart button, I should say, here on Instagram. But Pat, just break down a couple tips as we land the plane. So, okay, I've heard it. You're live streaming. You're doing a show called The Income Stream. You've done over 100 episodes. You've told me that you're going to do 365 episodes, right? So you're doing it
Yes.
once a day for an entire year. That in and of itself is, I think, just the power. It's transformational. I'm sure that it's changing you as much as it's changing your audience. And there's so many benefits. But if I want to get started and I'm like, okay, Pat, give me a few starting points to start some sort of a live show. What are like your first 3 moves you'd recommend for us to start going live?
Yeah, before you create like the show, if you want to kind of try and commit to something like that. And again, you don't have to commit forever and you don't have to commit daily. Even once a week could be great. You want to make that time consistent every week, though. People know that my show happens at the very same time every single day, and they show up. It's become a part of their calendar. If I'm 2 minutes late, people go, "What happened to Pat? Is he okay?" That's the kind of feeling we want to get, right? This is like a show on television or something that comes out regularly like that. Before you even start, however, I would recommend going live on a more casual platform, if you will, maybe even here on Instagram, just to get a feel for what it's like to be present with people live. And in fact, even if there's just a couple people, you can still practice some good engagement, because engagement is an important part of this as well. If you just go live and then record a YouTube video, it's not going to be worth going live, because the engagement is a part of that and the interaction is really what's going to make it sound different. When you interact with, and I'm just going to literally brain dump all of these tips on you, if that's okay. It's not really in any particular order. I hope that's fine. Interaction, really key. When you interact with people, call people by their name. The most beautiful sound to a person is the sound of their own name. That comes from Dale Carnegie in How to Win Friends and Influence People. So when you mention people's names, right? Like we got Two Socks in the house. We got, I coach Janine. I got Corny _ 2020, 2222. Like when you mention people's names, like things happen and people will be that much more in tune with what you're doing. It almost puts people on edge too. Like when you were in class and the teacher would call out people's names, it would make you go, oh, like maybe they're going to call my name too, right? So that's pretty cool. Number 2, I love to schedule them ahead of time. So because I do it daily, I in fact do this every day, but you can create a future live stream on many platforms, Facebook, not on Instagram yet, I believe, but yes, on YouTube. And so what I do is I set this up ahead of time and then I share that link ahead of time, because what happens is on YouTube, it says, hey, 9 hours till you stream or 3 days till you stream, click here for a notification. And that way you can actually get people sort of waiting around for it and actually have YouTube notify that person via email when you go live if they've hit that bell notification icon on what's coming up. And what's really cool, and I found this happens every day because it's consistent and people know when it's going to happen, the team shows up early. The team being the quarantine is what we call them, the people who are there live. They are literally already having conversations when I'm there, right? And the other thing I love to do is I love to add a little bit of flavor to the live stream as well. This is something that maybe is a little bit more advanced, but something I like to do. I like to have a couple camera angles. So I can go from this camera angle to this camera angle. I can add some music and sound effects in there as well. I do have an intro song that I got created from musicradiocreative.com. All these things add a little bit more to the element of the fact that this is a show, not just Pat going live, but it's a show. And I'll tell you, the sound effects, I have one that says bruh. Now, there's in fact people who go #bruh before I even go bruh because they want the bruh. And it's like, I don't even know what that means or how that matters, but it's something that creates community because it's something that's special that almost kind of they have. It's almost like creating their own language or culture within the live stream, which is really cool. I do plan topics ahead of time as well. And I'll tell you, just like a regular YouTube video, your title and your thumbnail matter on YouTube. So ahead of time, I create the thumbnail that is curiosity driven. It makes people excited about the event or the live stream. I have a title that's intriguing. You write your description. It takes a little bit of work, but I'll tell you, there's a massive difference between the viewership and the engagement and how long people watch when it's a topic based one that people can know what they're going to learn about. You almost kind of sell it ahead of time so that people will stick around versus the ad hoc, I'm going to go live right now without announcing it to anybody, because you're interrupting people now and hopefully capturing their attention, versus, hey guys, I'm going live in 6 hours. Like, get ready for it. Here's what we're going to talk about. And here's what you're going to come away with it, which is really cool. The other thing about this is, and this is a huge one, no matter what platform you go live, when you go live, just get started. My biggest pet peeve here is when people go live on any platform and they go, all right, let's see, James, welcome in, James. All right, we're going to wait a few minutes. How y'all doing? Where you guys in from? We'll get started in a couple. I'm just like, okay, just get started, right? And the real reason why you want to do this is because when people watch the replay, and remember, like I said on YouTube, 80% of people, in fact, many more based on the algorithm, can find it, but they're not going to find it if the first 4 minutes of your video don't hook them in, right? And are just boring like that. So just get started. Hey, what's up, guys? Pat here. Today in episode 170 of The Income Stream, we're talking about all the best tips that I've learned from the last 170 days of live streaming. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks. Say hello to your friends here. Again, we are, and this is the second tip. It's okay to say what you're going to talk about multiple times, because some people are coming in late, and it's a nice reminder for people, even 10 minutes in. Hey guys, remember, today we're talking about all the best live streaming tips, and make sure you stay till the end because I got something special for you. And that's another tip. Practice. This is a perfect place to practice those open loops, meaning say something that you're going to talk about later in the stream. Obviously close that loop, but that's a great way to keep people watching all the way through. That's something we should practice anywhere to begin with, but especially on live streams, it's really easy to have a dull moment and click out. But when there's a reason to continue watching and staying all the way through, you can go from there. Technology-wise, there's a number of different platforms that you can use. I love Ecamm Live, which is a Mac-only platform, but I love it because it's just really easy. You can even bring guests into the show, and it allows you to create your sound effects and your on-screen sort of images and things like that. StreamYard is another one that's both good for PC and Mac. And then you can even do it through your phone if you wanted to, just really quickly, again, if you were on the go. Let's see, what else works? Again, midway through, pattern interrupts. I absolutely love what's called pattern interrupts. This means as you're going, just take a quick break from what you were saying or what you were teaching, and then check in with the audience every once in a while. Or a big pattern interrupt I like to do is what I like to call on my show story time. Stories are everything, like I said earlier. And I actually highlight that even more by having a sound or music play that is like the story time music on the show. And then I switch cameras, I get a little bit more tight in the camera, and then I just tell the story. And that's a nice interrupt from the teaching that I was doing before about the topic. And it's cool because it kind of gives people a nice reset or a breather. I even have this special thing that I do on Ecamm where I set up a button on this thing called a stream deck. A stream deck is this like array of buttons that you can push and program for certain things. I have one of these buttons and I named it surprise. And what this does is it triggers a quick zoom in and a sound that goes brr, like a really loud surprise sound. And whenever I just feel like there's a dull moment, I kind of set it up so I go, hey guys, by the way, brr, and it like resets people and people go, oh my gosh, I had to come over to see what was going on. So whatever you can do to pattern interrupt, which means just keep people on edge in the middle of your show, is going to keep people watching all the way through. And again, obviously mention people's names, thank people, get to know who these people who are coming in. The more you can get to know them, the more they're going to want to stick around and get to know you too.
Whoo! That was like a master class. And if you're just joining, Pat Flynn just broke down tips for going live, why it's so important to be leveraging live streaming right now. Even if what you normally do is create pre-edited video or pre-recorded video, it's really both and. And next week, he's going to be sharing at our event called Grow with Video Live. And that's what the event is all about. How do you grow with video and live video? How do you grow your influence? How do you get followers? How do you build community? How do you build an audience? How do you reach people? How do you get more subscribers? How do you get more views? That's the influence side. And then also, how do you grow your income? And we have guest speakers like Roberta Blake. He's going to be talking about creating multiple streams of passive income. I'm going to be breaking down my 10 steps to building a 6 to 7 figure media expert business. We have Vanessa Lau talking about how in 1 year's time, she hit 100,000 subscribers and $100,000 in revenue, and she's gonna be breaking it all down step by step. So if you haven't heard about it yet, growwithvideolive.com. It's a 3-day virtual event, growing your business, your influence as a social media creator or as a business owner. You're going to learn the best practices for video and also live video. And if you're just joining, watch the replay because Pat really just gave us like a master class on lessons he's learned from over 170 live streams in a row, one day at a time for the last 170 days. Hashtag no days off. Hashtag bruh. Hashtag Pat Flynn is awesome. Pat, I want to thank you so much. Can you give us some final encouragement? You know, in light of all of this, I think there's a lot of opportunity in the world. In particular, man, Zoom stock is going up, live streaming, YouTube. That's why we feel like it's an opportune time, a strategic time for everybody, because they got to figure out, man, they're trying to homeschool their kids, virtual learning from home, going virtual, live streaming. That's the trend. But it's also a time where, of course, we have so much empathy for just the absolute craziness that's happening in the world right now. A lot of people furloughed, a lot of people unemployed, 55 million Americans so far, and mental health crisis we're facing in the world. Can you just kind of land the plane with some encouragement for us as entrepreneurs? This is a tough time, no matter who you are, to kind of keep your mind focused, to sort of stay hopeful, to stay encouraged. What's just some advice? You've been an entrepreneur for so long, through ups and downs, through recessions before, which is some encouragement for our community when it comes to kind of the challenges of 2020, but also the opportunities of 2020.
So I was laid off in 2008 during the last recession, and I was going through some tough times myself. And for a good 3 to 4 weeks, I was always thinking about how I wish everything was different, how I wish I worked harder so I didn't get laid off, and maybe even chose a different career, all this stuff. I wish this, I what if that? But then I started to realize, after watching Back to the Future for 60 times in a row, because it's absolutely my favorite movie, it made me believe that maybe I can go in a time machine and change things. But of course, after the 1 hour and 56 minutes every time, we were back to reality. And I eventually realized there was no time machine. We can't go back and change things. But there is some truth to the Back to the Future. The idea that Marty, goes back to the past, interacts with his parents, just changes a few things, comes back, and then everything's different. Well, we can't go back in the past, but the things that we choose to do now, the way that we choose to react to the situation that we're in, is writing our future story. So we get to choose from this point forward. We're all dealt the same cards right now. Whatever cards we're dealt, we can choose how we want to use those and actually create the story that we want. So are you going to take this time to reflect on the things that are in the past that we cannot change, or are you going to expend that energy and try to create something new, experiment, take bold actions that maybe you didn't have the time to do before, but you have the time to do now? Now, hopefully we can see there's even more importance to taking a few risks to create a little bit more control in our life. And that's exactly what I did in 2008. I risked it. I started my own business, and I'm so thankful I did. And that layoff, in fact, became a huge blessing in disguise. And I know that there's going to be a load of people who are taking the time right now to build their futures as we speak. This is why you need to come to the event coming up. This is why we need to take action, and why we need to let that fear turn that around into excitement and great positive possibilities. It's up to you.
Thank you, Pat Flynn, for the encouragement. So grateful for the tips. You want to watch this replay if you're just joining, with Pat's best tips on why we need to be live streaming right now and how to actually stand out, get noticed, and then connect with people. Follow Pat Flynn here on Instagram at Pat Flynn. And I think you might be able to tap the tappy and find him here. Somebody was already stalking your reels. And so you got to follow Pat Flynn everywhere. YouTube channel, smartpassiveincome.com. Get all of his books. He's one of the absolute best in the game, not just because of the results and the strategies and the things he teaches, but he's also just a world-class human, father, husband, leader. He's one of the good guys. And in our space, there sometimes can be a void of integrity. Not so with the man, Pat Flynn. So grateful for you, bro, and so thankful that you're going to be speaking next week at growwithvideolive.com. And thanks again for coming on the live stream.
Thank you so much, everybody. And speaking of reels, I have one coming in about a half hour I think you'll like. So anyway, I'll see you there. Thanks, guys.